What's up, YouTube? I'm Brett.
I'm Lance.
This is Rants or Us. As always, guys, if y'all enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. We're on the road to 1,000. We hope you guys can help us get there. All right, so we decided to do something a little bit fun today. SOA versus Mayans comparison. Tell me, Lance. I know you think that Mayans probably is the better show overall. Am I right? When it comes to it? I just want to see where you stand on it, where I stand on it, and
I
we
mean,
can kind of go with from there.
it's hard for me to say either way because I really loved SOA,
Hmm.
but towards the end there, I kind of got out of it. I'm not gonna lie about that. Like towards the end there, I was kind of just watching it to finish the show. With Mayans, I feel like it does good. I feel like Sons of Anarchy for me kind of got worse and worse and worse as we went. Where Mayans for me to this point has gotten better and better and better.
I will say, if you would have asked me this maybe 2 months ago, I would have said without a doubt SOA is the better show. But just what you mentioned just right there, SOA really failed after Opie died. It really
Yeah.
failed after Opie died. It really Jax's character went off the deep end and really didn't, I don't know, fit with his nature and with his character and what he had been building up to at that point. So I felt like the show really lacked in that regard. I felt like it got distracted on its own self. I felt like if you went the first 4 seasons of SOA, I would say by far better show. But unfortunately,
Season
it
for
went
me, it
on
was
after
like
that, and I
season
can't
for
say that it's the
me.
better show anymore because, like you said, Mayans seems to be getting stronger as it goes.
Yeah,
I mean, in
for
that
me
regard.
though, it seemed like at times, like season 6 and 7 for sure, there was episodes there where I was like, I didn't even feel like this was being written by the same people anymore.
Yeah, it really didn't feel that way. I mean, it seemed like after Opie died, it's just like those
Yeah,
characters that we grew to love and care about just weren't even there anymore. It's like,
you know, I'm just saying you can't kill off your beloved characters because that sometimes does
yeah,
kind of make your show interesting. I just feel like the show kind of went way downhill after they killed Opie off, and
I felt like another thing that made that SOA, and I think Mayans is kind of making the same mistake with Coco, is I can't help but compare Coco to Juice in a lot of different ways. It
yeah,
seems like they're
when
going
I
down the
first
exact
started
same
watching this,
direction.
I kind of compared Coco to Tig to an extent.
Hmm.
But throughout, I'm like, oh, this is going to be the new Juice. And I hate being like that because I do want to look at Mayans as its own thing, but it's really hard to do when they reference things from SOA or they bring back characters from SOA. And I know a lot of people enjoy that having their characters from SOA show up on Mayans where I'm not completely against it. I just wish they would do it correctly when they
So you
do
don't
it.
like the nostalgia aspect of it too much.
I'm not big on it.
I'm
I mean,
not big
that's
on
not
it
going to
either.
make or break me on a show. Like, you don't have to do that for me to be into this show. Like,
Yeah.
now I do. I will say this: when we talk about which show's better, if I had seen Mayans before I ever saw SOA, I would say Mayans hands down.
Hmm.
Just because now network has changed, where they're able to get away with saying things and doing things that they kind of censored out in SOA makes it more believable. Their language alone from a biker gang talking the way they talk on Mines is more believable than the way they talked on SOA.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I
Yeah.
feel like
So,
that
I
is
mean, there's aspects of the
miles in
show that to
advantage.
me are hands down better.
All right. Well,
But
what
then there's
about
things
say the
that they
main?
do that I'm like,
Yeah. So what do you? So let's just talk about like main character. You know, Jax overall was the main character of SOA. We could argue
mm-hmm.
which is the main character, Angel or Easy, but I would go so far as say probably Easy is probably the main character that they're trying to portray. Who do you
I would
think
say
is?
that this season, but it kind of changes because the
Yeah,
last couple of seasons I kind of said it was Angel.
but who do you think?
But they really toned him down a lot
Yeah.
this season and pushed Easy a little bit more. My only issue is if they give us this reincarnation of Jax and Tara with Easy and Emily, I'm not going to be excited about that. I'm just not.
All right, well,
I don't think anybody's wanting that.
No, I don't think they want that either. But I mean, who would you give the edge to between Jax or Easy or Angel? Like one of those. Which of those? Which do you enjoy better, Angel or Easy or Jax?
See, it's hard for me to do that because Jax had a fuller body of work for me to go with. So I would say Jax just because I had 7 seasons of this character. There's a lot of build there. There's not been so much with Angel or Easy for me. Like Angel, by far the first 2 seasons, I was like, oh, this is gonna be my guy. This season, it's been more Bishop than anybody, honestly. Easy, I'm kind of hit or miss with Easy. I've enjoyed him a lot this season. Didn't care for him all that much the first couple seasons.
I would have to go with Jax for me. And it's harder than what I initially thought it would be to go in that regard because
it's hard.
It really is because Jax, I felt like I loved his character the first couple seasons. All the way up to Opie's death. I really loved his character.
Well, I didn't really have a problem with Jax's character until about halfway through season 6 is where I started kind of going, Jax is kind of going off the rails here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you brought up the Tara situation and the Emily Easy comparison when it comes to that.
And I think that's the main reason I want to go like... That's the main reason I want to go Bishop or Angel over Easy is because I don't want to see all this again,
I mean, so overall, would you say you would probably go with Jax?
I would go with Jax on that question there because, like I said, for me, mainly because he had a larger build up for me. Body of work, I
would say I enjoyed Jax's character a lot more because seemed like with Jax, he had a mission and he had a goal of what he wanted to do. The first couple of seasons was he wanted to reinvent SOA, and that was a good.
For me, that's the thing. He had a mission and a goal throughout the entire show, whether it was a screwed up mission or not is besides the point. He always had a mission, and like I said, I say Jax because of the body of work. And then again, though, when we go to comparing Mayans and SOA, it's really hard to even do that because of the longevity of each show. Like this is 3 seasons and this is 7. So it's really hard to do that. But I think if they keep going in the direction they've been going, when it's all said and done, Mayans will be the better show.
Oh, I think so. I think so too, in a lot of respect.
But I will say, I don't know if a lot of SOA fans would agree with me. Now, if we're talking strictly just Mayans fans, wasn't really SOA fans, they might. But SOA fans, I think, would disagree with me just because of the nostalgia thing.
I feel like when
that's the show they fell in love with, so that's the show they're going to side with.
I figured, you brought up a very good point about about Easy and Angel, where you said, one season you'll really love Angel, and then the next season, like, you're kind of off of Angel. I know I've been off of Angel in season 3, and that's the reason why.
Season 3, I've had moments
why
with
I would pick Jackson, that character.
Now, I have had moments with Angel during season 3 where I'm like, I'd get a little glimpse of the character I came to love, but they've kind of downplayed him a lot this season and given other people a bigger role, which that was cool too, getting to see a different side of Bishop, different side of Taz, a different side of Hank. Yeah. That was interesting to me, but I think it hurt the main characters a little bit because you got less from them. Like even Easy. Easy was better for me this season than he has previously, but we still got less out of that story.
Oh, definitely. Well, that actually brings me to my next question. Which club do you think was portrayed better? Do you think it was, SOA? or do you
think
think Mayans
I,
have portrayed the
I
club
think when
life
it
better?
comes to club, I
And the
think
characters in the
Mayans.
club necessarily too.
I think Mayans would be the better club for me.
I think when it comes to club scene, I would pick. Oh, gee. See, that's another hard one because if you'd asked me this a month ago, I would have gone without a doubt SOA. But I've enjoyed some of the characters off of Mayans
Yeah, and
probably a lot more in a lot of
I feel like
respects.
in a way we got little side stories with these characters, but not like what we're getting
Yeah.
with Mayans.
I feel like with I feel like I would have to give the edge to Mayans on this one, simply because I've really enjoyed Bishop's storyline, and in the past I've enjoyed Coco's, and I think I'm kind of enjoying kind of where they're going with Hank in this regard, when it comes to Nails and the whole baby situation. So I think I'm going to kind of enjoy that a little bit more than what I did with, let's say, Bobby
I
with
think
the porn
I would say
star and
I would too, except
Gemma and
for
Clay.
I don't think I'm gonna like the image they're gonna paint of Angel throughout those stories, and that's my issues because I'm big on Angel. You already know that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm gonna like the way they paint him if it comes down between him and Hank and the baby and the
You would
baby's
have to give
mom.
Hank
Yeah,
you'd have
yeah,
to
you
give
know,
Hank in a lot of
because
ways. Hank's the best
you
guy.
gotta respect Hank when he's like finds out she's pregnant and he's like, "You're not alone. I'll help you through this."
Yeah.
Him knowing that's not his kid, but him being in love with her and be willing to basically raise
Yeah.
that kid. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
like takes a special kind of man to be like that. So
Yeah, and I'll tell you this too. When it come to Angel, I just kind of felt like Angel is really. You brought up in the last video that we did, the last episode, about how Angel 1 minute is telling Easy to go out there with Gabby, and if you love her, go out there and do that. And then he has that scene at the table with her, and they're
yeah,
like, "Which is it with you
granted,
two?"
when he's telling Easy, you got to go for it. He thought that Louisa was going to accept his proposal.
Yeah.
And now that she has it, I can see him being bitter about that, but not to the point he got.
Yeah, no, I didn't like that scene at all. That
You know,
scene kind of ruined
it
a lot
painted
of
an
that
ugly
episode.
picture of Angel for me. I'm like,
Yeah.
it was out of place. I felt like it was out of place.
But I feel like the story with Bishop is a lot better than the story we got from Clay and Gemma in my book.
Yeah,
I felt like
I
I didn't
mean,
really like the Clay and Gemma and Jack's situation that
I
went
felt
on in
like
a lot of ways.
if we had really gotten in depth with Clay's backstory, it would have been better. But we didn't. But with Bishop, we are, and I do like how they are touching on all the characters somewhat, where they didn't do that in the first two seasons. And I gotta say it, whether people like this or not, like my opinion on it or not, I gotta say that's because Kurt Sutter is no longer a showrunner.
In a lot of ways, I would probably agree with you on that one. I feel that way too. I feel like he's not having as much of an impact on it. I felt like, even though I will say, I feel like in a lot of regard, the show is wanting to go back to the Emily EZ relationship simply because it
That's the
started
only
on
issue
that,
we
and I
having.
feel like that's the only reason why they're trying to push it.
I do think the whole blow up with what happened at the ice cream store and him elbowing her in the face was just to get her out of the picture so they could free up this question whether or not something's going to go on with Easy and Emily.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to happen because I think it'll be dumb and just a repeat of Jackson Tara. And we already suffered through that once. We don't need to suffer through it again.
All right. Well, speaking of that very thing, which do you enjoy more, the Easy Emily relationship or the Tara Jax relationship? Because they've taken up big portions of both storylines. Which, if you had to choose, would you choose?
And for me, that one's really hard. That's really hard for me to choose. My problem is I felt Maggie Sif played Tara, and she didn't bother me as much as the girl that plays Emily does.
Really? Oh, dude,
I don't know why.
I hated Tara.
The actress who plays Emily drives me absolutely nuts. I can't stand her.
I think she's a bad actress in a lot of
Maybe
ways.
that's what it is. And I mean, Maggie
feel like
Sif
she
was
really
a
did.
great actress, but to me, that was a better storyline with Jax and Tara than what we're getting with Emily and EZ. I mean,
so you go Jackson and Tara on that
I'll
one?
go Jax and Tara on that one.
I would actually go Emily and Easy on that one. Simply because I loathed, and I mean I just hated Tara with a passion, dude. I know we talked about this for years, how much I've hated Tara. So much. I felt like she ruined Jax.
I mean, there was times throughout the story where I hated Tara, but I mean, you hated her from the word go.
Dude, I hated her from the first time I saw her. Did not like her. I did not like the Tara Gemma junk that always went on that show that took up so much hostility on that show. I didn't enjoy it.
I felt like they were going to do that same thing with Emily and Dita until they, she
they at
died.
least killed off Dita early on. We had to go through with Gemma to the very end with this Tara thing.
The only thing with Tara and Gemma that kind of drove me nuts was like one season they absolutely hated each other. Next season they would be best friends. Yeah. Next season they absolutely hate each other again.
I'm like Gemma and Wendy. I mean, it's like
don't forget.
I mean
that was bad because Gemma absolutely tried to get her to OD in the hospital again. Mm-hmm. Oh, she did. Tara had to save her life. Yeah. But then she's like, "You need to fight for your husband."
Yeah. So I mean, overall, I would be like, to me, it's Emily and Easy.
Okay, the reason I say
she hasn't gotten in the way of the storyline quite as much as what Tara.
And I can get that, but the reason I say Jax and Tara is there was a solid story there with Emily and Easy is just, we dated in high school.
And that's actually a really fair point in that regard. It really is, because it just kind of feels like,
and I get that Jax and Tara dated in high school too, but there was a lot more to their situation.
There was a marriage. There was a kid. There was something like where Easy and Emily don't have.
There was much more between those two, And I don't think. See, the thing is, Easy's in love with Emily because I don't understand why. Where Jax, she literally saved his son's life. I could understand him falling back in love with her. Yeah. And so it makes more sense for me with Jax and Tara than it does Easy and Emily, is I guess why I say Jax and Tara.
All right, well, what do you think when it comes to antagonists? Who do you think has better antagonists?
SOA.
That's an easy one for me. SOA.
Hands down. I mean, the only reason I would say that, it is an easy one. But the only reason I would say that is SOA, we got bad guy after bad guy after bad guy
every season.
Mayans, we don't even have a bad guy, really.
No, we don't. I mean, they went
from... Right now is the king of Meth Mountain.
Yeah. And that's the dude in the booty shorts.
Yeah.
So I mean, not exactly what I would call a fearsome thing. We went in SOA, you had the IRA, you had the skinheads, you had some really.
Even Zobel and him, Zobel was a good bad guy. The only problem with Zobel is they just dropped that storyline out of nowhere.
I mean, you had some of the villains killing off Tig's daughter, and doing some.
The Niners were good villains. Yes. The Mayans were great villains on SOA.
They were. Alvarez.
Alvarez,
was a good villain in that.
You know how? Think about how long did it probably take people to actually like Alvarez? Like,
I didn't. To be honest with you, I didn't really like Alvarez until Mayans. in a lot of ways. Like I
Yeah,
didn't like.
a lot of people would probably like that, honestly. But I mean, there was just little issues with Alvarez I had throughout the SOA made me not like him. But that he was supposed to do that. He was
Yeah.
supposed to play the villain at times.
But I mean,
And
I don't even think there's some question here. Galindo is not a villain. Galindo is. I don't even know what Galindo actually is, to be
Galindo,
honest with you.
what they do with Galindo makes me mad, just simply because I see glimpses of potential,
Yeah.
and then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna make him a wuss."
Yeah. Yeah, it's like when he cuts the
Like,
arm off that
okay,
guy, that gang member. I'm
he
like,
cut the arm off the Samoan kingpin.
yeah.
Then he threw boiling water or had boiling water thrown on a guy just because he happened to be out on the street when his son was kidnapped.
Mm-hmm.
He choked a guy pretty much to death when he was locked up that time in that holding cell for peeing on him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's been moments where you see the side of Galindo that everybody probably wishes we would get, and if they would push him more that way, I would be excited about that character, but they just don't.
All right. Well, what do you?
So I'm not.
Yeah. So I mean, I would say without a doubt, I would give the
On that one,
edge
SOA
to
for
SOA
sure.
on that one. Because Galindo is so underwhelming that almost Emily seems to be a bigger villain than Galindo at times in a lot of respect. But I'll say this. All right. Well, who do you enjoy? Like the brotherly love kind of that goes on between Easy and Angel, or Opie and Jax. Even though Jax and Opie weren't brothers, they had that bond. Whose bond do you enjoy seeing more on screen?
For me, I would say Angel and Easy. Opie's and Jax always came off a little weird to me.
I felt like Jax wanted out, but then he wanted Opie back in, and that didn't make any sense to me. And then he got Opie in, and then of course all Opie's life fell apart, and then somehow he wanted to blame it on Clay, and it was actually really kind of his fault because he kind of got him back in it. So I mean,
Clay was pushing Jax to get Opie back, though.
I know, but at the end of the day, that's still Jax doing.
No, at the end of the day, Jax, at that point, Jax is doing what his president's telling him to do.
Jax,
he's following orders.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like I don't feel like that would be something that Angel or Easy would do. I feel like if Bishop come to Angel and he was telling Angel, "Hey, you need to get Easy back in there," I think Angel would just be like, "You know what? Screw you, man. I'm not doing it." I really think he would.
I don't think so. I think if it was the other way around, if Bishop was telling Easy to get Angel back, Easy would be like, no. But I think Angel would do it because I think Angel really wants Easy in that life because then he has somebody. He has somebody going through it with him. He has.
Really? See, I mean, the way I see where you're coming from. I feel like it is made a bond between the brothers that wasn't there at the very beginning. But I will say this: I feel like he's still a protective older brother.
I think it was there in the beginning, and then Easy fractured that when Angel found out what he was really up to, and so now they're having to build that bond back.
Yeah.
And now Angel's screwing it up by treating Easy's girlfriend the way he did, and now Easy really screwed that up by punching her or elbowing her in the face. So who knows where it's going to go from there?
I will have to agree with you though. I actually kind of enjoy the Mayans bond a little bit better than I did Opie and Jax. Even though I did enjoy the Opie and Jax thing, I just felt like
too. I really did too.
There wasn't. They wanted to tell us that it was a strong bond.
I feel like
it was kind of a weird bond at the same time.
I feel like Angel. I think they had a strong bond.
I did too. I think it was strong. Don't get me wrong,
but I think Angels and Easy's just comes across differently because at the end of the day, we do know that they are actually brothers.
Yeah.
So it's easier for us to see them doing the things they do for one another as genuine more than just two best friends.
Yeah. And that's fair enough on that one. that was kind of a bond I was hoping that we get to see in a SOA spinoff with Jax's sons, which I don't know if we'll ever get that, but that was what I was always hoping for.
That's what I
You
always
know,
hoped for too. I was totally against Mayans when
I
they
was too.
announced it, and I'm glad that. But I'm actually glad they did this. Like this,
Yeah, I am too. I really am. I don't really know why they picked Mayans. I felt like Mayans started off being the main villains, but then at the same time, in SOA. But then I felt like later on they were just kind of a minor gang at that point. Yes, we had Alvarez, but I mean, let's face it, the Mayans didn't play a huge role in what went on in SOA. They were more the default gang that gave SOA problems in the past
they were,
in
yeah,
a lot of ways.
yeah, because SOA and the Mayans finally, they linked up and did that
Yeah,
treaty,
yeah.
and apparently it's been smooth sailing ever since until now.
I mean, all right. Let me ask you this: which uh, which story arcs do you enjoy a lot more? I mean, do you feel like which show do you think fulfills a lot of the story arcs that they start, or which show do
Mm.
you think fails drastically at it?
See, I think that honestly, for me on that, I feel like it would be a tie almost because the reason I say that, and I can explain in my head anyway, they both do it. They both start these storylines and then just drop them. Like let's start with SOA, the Zobel thing. That one alone,
That one drives me crazy at this day.
they just they went down this whole season two was all about this, and then at
Yeah,
the end of season two, it's like, well, oh well, this guy raped my wife, whatever. He did all this, but
we're just gonna let it
the
go.
Irish kid, my grandkid. We gotta go.
hmm
Okay, you could have killed him and then went to Ireland.
hmm
Okay, and got your grandson back, which would have been fine. I'd have been cool with that. But they just dropped it and never talked about it again.
Yep.
Easy on mine's Easy's whole I'm gonna rat on the club basically just to or he wasn't gonna rat on the club, let me fix that. But he was gonna use the club to infiltrate Galindo and take Galindo down.
Yeah.
And that just got dropped.
Yeah.
Potter's like, oh, if you kill your cousin, we're good. The deal never happened. Okay, they do that. Deal never happened.
hmm
I don't feel like I feel like maybe it never got brought up to the club. Okay, cool. But I don't think Angel would have dropped it as easily as he did. Yes, they did that whole thing where he didn't want to sponsor Easy no more. He didn't want Easy to be a Mayan, all that. But then when he patches, he goes and gets Bishop to be a sponsor instead of Angel, they just drop it. But
On this one, I can't give it a. I'm gonna say it's a tie in a lot of
and that's
ways.
why I said. And another one they dropped on Mayans was Coco goes and kills his mom because his daughter tells him she beat the crap out of her.
They just dropped that.
And it just got dropped. So both shows do it so much that I can't give one or the other an edge.
I mean, I guess if I had to say which annoyed me the most was probably SOA, simply because SOA dropped big storylines where I kind of feel like
it happened more often on SOA too because of the whole longevity versus where this show's been. We had 7 seasons of storylines getting dropped over here.
Yeah,
we're only on season 3 right now. We're just scratching the surface with Mayans. So hopefully that's something that gets fixed now that, like, again, Kurt Sutter isn't so hands-on. I'm not a big Kurt Sutter fan. I know a lot of people are.
I was for the first few seasons of SOA,
yeah.
But then I started seeing patterns in the shows.
Season 1 through 4, I was like seasons 1 through 3 for sure. I was like, this man's a genius.
Yeah. Kind of feel like he's Seth MacFarlane to a certain extent, where it's like Seth MacFarlane creates all these funny shows, but then you start realizing, okay, the family kind of looks the same.
That they're all really the same.
Yeah, you change out a dog for an alien for a bear. I mean, all of these little things like that, like everything just starts looking the exact same.
I don't know who Brian got swapped out for, the alien or the fish.
I know. I mean, But in a lot of ways, those shows, uh, I feel like that's one thing that Kurt Sutter falls into, and I noticed it on Bastard Executioner.
Yeah,
That was like he was just repeating the same stuff over and
like I
over
said,
again, and it wasn't
a lot of people
interesting.
might not like that opinion, but there's a reason that season 3 of Mines has been the best so far.
All right, well, so do you think which do you think has had better seasons so far? Do you think season 3 of Mayans is better than anything that we've seen on SOA?
No, I won't say that. I can't say that. The first few seasons of SOA were pretty good for me. The only thing I can go back and say is Mayans has gotten better and better and better. There's growth there where by this point, season 3 of SOA, we started noticing season 4 it was a little worse. Season 5 was a little worse. Season 6 was a little worse than that. Season 7 was garbage. Like, I'm sorry. I love Sons of Anarchy bigger than almost anybody I know, me and you. And I didn't like season 7 at all.
I didn't like the last season at all. Nothing about the last season I enjoyed. I hated all. I hated all the story arcs. I didn't enjoy anything with it. But I would go so far to say, I kind of agree with you on SOA in that regard. I kind of feel like SOA has had overall better seasons than even what season 3 has been for me. Even though I love season 3 of Mayans, I kind of feel like SOA is at least.
Me and you were kind of different. You really liked season 1 of Mayans.
I
didn't care for season 2 of Mayans. Mm-hmm. Love season 3. Where with me, I didn't much care for the first season of Mayans. Love season 2. Season 3's been even better. So let's see what happens in the next 4 seasons, and then we can do a comparison on what show really is better.
What show do you think will have the longevity?
I'm going to say Mayans.
Mayans, really?
And the reason I'll say Mayans is, again, growth. It gets better every season, not worse. So I can see it going further.
Really? I feel like Mayans has the capacity to be better than SOA in a lot of different aspects. And I agree with you. Mayans seems like it's building up better while SOA at this point was kind of at its peak and it was going on a downward slope. So I will say this. I think nostalgia alone will always make fans feel like SOA is better. Now, maybe when they go back and watch the show.
See, when you say longevity, I'm thinking more like which one would have more seasons.
Yeah.
And I do think Mayans could.
So, I mean, on main characters, you would pick, on who has a stronger protagonist, you pick 2?
SOA.
SOA. All right, on the club scene. What did you?
No, I picked Mayans on the first 2.
On the first 2, Mayans.
Yeah.
I would go so far as say, I think we picked Mayans more than what we
did. SOA. Now I picked Jax. I'm getting all confused with all these questions. I picked Jax over Easy and Angel.
Yeah.
I picked the club scene of Mayans to be better than SOA.
Yeah.
I picked SOA to have better villains than Mayans. I think other than that, I have picked Mayans pretty much.
Basically, I mean, I thought in a lot of aspects, I feel like the main protagonist, I mean, that's a hard one for me.
That one is really hard.
And that one, it really is.
Oh, and I like Jackson Terror better than Easy and Angel.
But. Yeah, I mean, in a lot of aspects, when I look back
So
on it, I would probably
if we took just these aspects that we talked about right now and we really broke it down, then I would say, yeah, Mayans is the better show.
yeah. I mean,
It's hard to
it's
say it.
hard. It's hard to
It's hard
say.
to let it come out of your mouth.
It really is because I almost feel like I'm abandoning a show that I cared so deeply for.
Let me ask you this. Would you go back and rewatch SOA right now?
I've gone back and watched, but I get to the point where Opie dies, and then I start losing complete and total interest.
Now, would you go and rewatch all of Mayans?
I have, and I can still watch
I'm currently rewatching it right now. I'm on season 2, episode 8.
I would
It's
say
all 2 seasons away from season 3.
I mean, if it was up to me, I would say longevity would go to Mayans because I feel like at this point, you're right, Mayans probably is the better show. But I'm talking about nostalgia wise from just fans across.
No, nostalgia wise, fans, I
like
think
SOA.
fans will always cherish SOA more because that's what they got first. That's what show they fell in love with. And that's what I was saying earlier, So
I mean, but I feel like SOA had the better I feel like SOA to a certain extent did have the better villains. But besides that, I enjoy.
Now, when I first started watching Mayans, I could honestly tell you they could kill anybody on that show off and it would not bother me. Now, not so much.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed the club. I enjoyed Bishop a lot more than I enjoyed Clay. Let's just put it that way. I mean, so in a lot of ways, I enjoyed the club aspect of Mayans a lot better than I did SOA.
The thing with that though goes back to the SOA. Bishop really isn't the villain type where Clay kind of was those first few seasons.
Yeah. Give it time though.
So,
give it time.
Anything can change.
Very well happen on that.
Easy could turn out to be the ultimate villain.
I would give overall out of asking all those questions. Overall, I would have to say Mayans is the better show.
I would agree with that.
Agree?
Obviously, I've already said that.
Ooh, that hurts to say though. For me, that hurts.
I know.
That hurts to say.
And I know a lot of people are probably going to be like, they don't like SOA. Screw these guys. But
I love
that's not what
SOA
it is. That's not what it is at all. It's just when you break it down, you have to face facts.
I mean, I've breaking it down. Even before we started this video, I kind of had a different aspect of it. But when you break it down into better protagonists, better storylines, better, brother drama or just drama in general that goes on in the show, better antagonists, better club scene, all of those things, when you break it down in that way.
When you break it down and you break down the aspects of each show, you have to look at the result.
Yeah, I mean, I would say overall 3/4 of the answers that we gave probably was Mayans in a lot.
And another thing for me, and this is just me personally, every season, even when I first started watching Sons of Anarchy, when we got to the end of the season, I was like, okay, season's over, cool. With Mayans, I'm like, how long are we gonna have to wait?
16 months.
I'm ready to watch season 3 right now. And so that affected me more than when it did with SOA.
See, I felt like SOA was a little bit better at some of the things.
I think
that ending it better on cliffhangers, I felt like they did a better job.
See, and I disagree with that because I feel like a lot of times when they tried to drop their cliffhangers, it'd be way out left field somewhere. With this, it's pretty spot on. Like I seen this coming. Holy crap! I can't wait to find out what happens here. Where with SOA, I was just kind of like, phew.
That was a good episode, but you can wait, huh? See, I mean,
now there were times like in the middle there where it's like, oh, I can't wait till Tuesday. I'm gonna watch this, but I'm saying as season goes, like we're on episode 8. We probably got 2 more episodes. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, this can't be the end of Mayans right now.
I
Like
know,
we
I
just
know,
got this
I
back.
know,
It
I know.
seems
I feel
like,
that way too.
so that kind of plays a part with me on how much I actually. That makes me realize how much I actually really do enjoy this show more
Yeah.
than what I thought I did.
Oh, definitely, definitely. But I mean, overall, I would give the edge to Mayans. I feel like you would give the edge to Mayans. You know, hey, 3 years from now, we'll do this video again and we'll see where it stands. Maybe, by the final, thing of
We'll let you
things.
know. I'll let you know what I think is the better show. The finale of season 7 of Mayans.
My view of it's changed drastically since season three's happened compared to after season two. After season two, I was like, SOA, SOA,
And
SOA.
I was the exact opposite after
Yeah.
season 2 when I was like,
Yeah. So I
so
mean,
excited about
it's
the
weird
show.
how it does it. My mind has been changed. I enjoy Angel's. Easy's storyline a lot more. Easy was my biggest problem in the first
Yeah,
two seasons, so I've enjoyed it.
Easy was a big problem for me, especially season 1.
Yeah, it was for me too.
But my biggest problem with him season 1 was I felt like it was just so much about what's going on with Emily. What's going on with Emily? Her kid got kidnapped. I'm not gonna let anything happen to her. I didn't care.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I agree with you.
anyway,
But overall, guys, let
that's
us
all
know.
I got, man.
Yeah, let us know what y'all think. I think we would both of us would kind of give the edge to in a lot of these categories to Mayans, which is kind of shocking because I went into this thinking SOA
Which
probably all
is
the way, but
which
Mayans when you
is
bring
to
it in
say,
actually
if
is
you
better.
bring up different topics, my opinion might would change.
Yeah, and fair enough. And I think like when you go season by season, and who had the better seasons, the better season finales.
But again, I
And
do
then
think it's hard to
eventually we'll be able to
compare.
say who had the best finale all the way
Right.
around. I
Yeah.
would probably give the
Yeah.
edge to Mayans on that one because I
Eventually,
don't see how
we're
it
going to
could
be
get any
able to
worse.
have the conversation of what was the better series.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. But as always, guys, let us know what y'all think down below. And thanks for watching.